I was muted. Hello. Hi, guys. What do you think? What do you think of the new intro? Everybody give it up for Anna Nicole. What an amazing intro. And she made an outro too. And I am so excited. Hello, Dee. Hello, everybody. It is so good to see everyone. It is so good to have you guys here today. I really appreciate you being here. We are going to have a nice little chat today. Um, and we're going to be talking about the Oscar noms. You know why? You know why? Because we could stand to have some distraction. And I promise you that this is going to be a great Oscar talk. Okay. So, what a Thursday it was when Karsten and I were DMing each other back and forth on Instagram, going over all the nominations and sharing our thoughts about it. And I thought, okay, well, this is a good topic for a stream. Yes, distraction via Oscars date. Exactly. That is exactly what we all need. And who better to do it with than with me and this amazing chat? So thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. Let's have a good time. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind that I have not seen quite a few of these movies, and I really don't care. Okay. That's not the point. The point is talking about the biggest in terms of Oscar nominations this year. And that is the movie Emilia Perez. It is called Emilia Perez. The accent is over the first E. It's not Emilia Perez. It's Emilia Perez. Okay. So I decided that I was going to somewhat prepare for today by trying to watch Emilia Perez. I got through half of it and I clicked out. I couldn't watch the whole thing. We are in a fantastic and weird situation this year where we have two musicals that have been nominated for Best Picture. Now, Emilia Perez is also nominated in Best International Film, as well as Best Picture. It leads the tally board with 13 nominations, and we are going to discuss what the fuck is going on. All right. Now, here's my impression of Emilia Perez, the half of it that I watched. I had already read the critiques of it online. And so with the critiques in mind, I watched it with a very critical eye. I can tell you that the first weakness that I saw in this movie was that the music is horrible. And this is not me trying to be a hater. This is just me saying that when you've got Emilia Perez with the music in that movie and the songs in that movie, and you compare the music in that movie to Wicked, there is no comparison. It's almost an insult to have them in the same category. Now, this was a big hit at Cannes. The movie did very well at the Golden Globes. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that the lead actor in Emilia Perez snagged a Best Actress nomination, and that the so-called actress is a man, a biological male. So every time that we hear people say, oh, this never happens, women aren't missing out, women aren't getting robbed of opportunities, keep in mind there are only 5 slots in the acting category. 5. That is it. So every single slot in those categories is precious, whether it's actor, actress, supporting actress, or supporting actor. Every slot is precious. And the fact that a Best Actress slot was taken up by a biological male, I'm sorry, I have a problem with this. Just like, let's think back to The Crying Game. Jay Davidson was nominated for an Oscar in the male category because Jay Davidson was a man playing a cross-dresser in The Crying Game and did a fantastic job. It would have been an insult and ludicrous to nominate Jay Davidson in the female category, and that didn't happen, but we're in a new age. Now, let me outline some of the critiques of this movie. Yes, exactly. And I'm getting to this. This is what I'm getting to. All right. And yeah, correct. As was Nicole Kidman. There's been a lot of talk about how Nicole Kidman was also shut out for Baby Girl. Now, here are the critiques. One is, director is French. The movie is entirely in Spanish, so it was kind of fun to be able to watch a movie in Spanish without having to turn the subtitles on. But the director had said point blank that he did not do research. He happened to set the movie in Mexico, even though the movie was filmed in France, as was the substance. But with the substance, it didn't matter because the substance takes place in like this sort of, it could be anywhere. So the fact that it was filmed in France was not the point. The point is that the movie is set, Emilia Perez is set in Mexico, and it was filmed in France. The other problem, he said, when he was criticized for not hiring more Mexican actors in the movie, he made the ludicrous claim that he couldn't find any, which was annoying. Very, very annoying to a lot of people, especially Mexicans. Mexican viewers have called out the movie for being insulting and racist. The transgender community has called out the movie for presenting a ridiculous and unrealistic and misleading view of what it means to be transgender. Other people have called it out just for being a piece of shit movie. Okay. So the fact that it's done so well, I don't think that it's any mystery why it's doing so well. This is entirely political. It's entirely political. There is no question in my mind. No sane person could look at that movie and say that it was worth 13 Oscar nominations, more than Wicked, one of the highest Oscar nomination counts in history, and that Emilia Perez was deserving of these accolades. Now, there were a lot of other critiques as well. One of them was that the Spanish that is spoken in the movie sounds like somebody wrote the script in another language and ran it through Google Translate. The idiomatic expressions were off. The slang was off. The accents were off. The transgender actor who was nominated is from Spain. Zoe Saldana is from Dominican Republic. Selena Gomez is Mexican-American, but she is part of that branch of the Hispanic community that has been labeled, I believe it's called El No Sabo. No Sabo means a person who is raised in a Latino household who does not know how to speak Spanish. And she's kind of made that her brand. Like, yeah, my last name is Gomez and I'm Mexican-American, but I'm not connected to the language aspect of my culture. So I was very curious to listen because I had heard so many critiques of Selena Gomez's Spanish, and it was absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. Now, Selena Gomez said that apparently she was offered a dialect coach, and she passed on it because she said she didn't have time. It is absolutely abysmal. Her Spanish is horrendous. Her accent is terrible. Now, what they had to do was that they had to make additions to the script where the Zoe Saldana character states, when she's asked if she's Mexican, she states, no, well, I was born in the Dominican Republic, but I live in Mexico. To explain why her accent is so off. This wouldn't matter in any other case, right? Mostly people wouldn't point it out, but there have been too many instances, particularly in this country, where the Latino community has been grossly insulted by people who are not members of that community. So, for example, the adoption of the term Latinx, which was considered not only incredibly insulting and rude, but also very racist, an attempt to erase gender from the Spanish language, which you cannot do. And Latinos had said repeatedly to people, this is not a term that we relate to. It's not a term that we approve of. We wish that you would stop calling us that. We wish you would stop messing with our language. And it is a term that gets Latinos incredibly hot under the collar. All right. Maybe not if you live in a college town. Maybe not if you hang out exclusively with academics and SJWs, but if you talk to people within the wider community, they will say that they find the term to be offensive, borderline racist, and an intrusion by gringos into the Latino culture. There is also this notion that all Latinos are the same, that we all speak Spanish the same way, that we're supposed to look the same in order to be authentic, that we use the same expressions. We don't. Spanish varies widely, very, very widely, from Mexico all the way down to the tip of South America, and indeed in Spain. It is not spoken the same way. It is not accented the same way. The idiomatic expressions are different. All the expressions are different. So it's like what they say about the United States and the United Kingdom, that we're two countries that are separated by a common language. It's very true. The same goes for Latinos. And what this movie demonstrates is that people who do not speak the language and make no effort to understand the culture that they're making a movie about display this level of arrogance. It pisses people off. It does. And Mexicans are absolutely up in arms about the way that the country is portrayed. They're up in arms about the sort of diminishment of the plot involving drug trafficking and drug cartels and the tremendous damage they've done in Mexico. They are baffled by this movie and they object to it. And these objections have been raised from the time that the movie debuted on Netflix up until now. And the only people who have not gotten the memo are members of the Academy, the people who actually vote on these movies for awards at the Golden Globes, at Cannes, and now at the Oscars. And Latinos are like, fuck you. No, this movie is not representative. The trans community says that character is not representative. The ludicrous belittling, the ludicrous talking point that an individual who was a criminal, who engaged in brutal murders, can fake his own death and come back as a woman and have the slate completely wiped clean, that all you need to do is get plastic surgery and you become a new person, is incredibly absurd. It is so reductive and nonsensical. So the trans community doesn't like the way this issue was approached either. So nobody likes this movie, again, except for the people voting for awards, apparently. Okay. Right. And also, like I mentioned before, people who are native Spanish speakers were saying that they found the Spanish that was spoken in the movie to be very puzzling, and that it was obvious that they had run a script through Google Translate. And that's why the movie didn't hold together, that there were actors who were using expressions who were supposed to be Mexicans, who were using expressions that are not used in Mexico. They were saying, we've never heard anybody use these expressions in Mexico. Even if they're Mexican American, they're like, where did this expression come from? It must have come from Google Translate. Okay. So, yeah, exactly. Now, let's take a look at some of the nominees and have a bit of a chat. All right. Here's the nominee list. I'm going to start with Best Picture. Let's see if I can pump this up a little bit. All right. Let's bring this up. All right, here's the best picture list. And I'll tell you which ones I've seen and what I think of them. Okay, Anora, The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. Out of all of these, I've seen Anora, I've seen Conclave, I've seen Emilia Perez, well, at least half of it. I've seen The Substance, and I've seen Wicked. So that's the rundown there. Now, one of the things that I can say off the right out of the gate, even though I may have enjoyed a lot of these movies, I may have enjoyed the experience of sitting in a theater or sitting at home and firing up my phone and watching these movies, is that there is only one movie on this list that is going to withstand the test of time, and that movie is Wicked. The rest of them are good. They are pleasant distractions, or they're beautifully made, or they're well acted, but they are not going to become classics. You can go back to the Oscar nominations of the 1970s, and you can take a look at All the President's Men, The French Connection, Rocky. It goes on, and The Godfather 1 and 2. And you can see Taxi Driver. Those are movies that have become classics. Those are movies that even after the ceremony was over, The Deer Hunter, they're movies that were made beautifully. They're movies with incredible themes, and they're movies that will resonate for decades. And their message and their technique, the style, the acting will never, ever be seen as dated. I loved Anora. I thought it was great. And I think that the top thing for me about Anora was that Sean Baker is a director who has specialized in making these little tiny independent movies with unknown casts on a shoestring budget. He is a one-man band. He's the director, the editor, the writer, the producer, and everything else. And so I like seeing movies like that recognized. I do. And Anora is wonderful. Will it withstand the test of time? I don't think so. I really don't believe so. Mikey Madison was amazing in the movie. So was the entire cast. But no. I'm dying to see A Complete Unknown. I cannot wait to see that movie. I heard it's wonderful, but it's another one. It's a biopic, and biopics don't tend to... biopics don't really hold up over time. The Brutalist is now getting a lot of criticism because apparently AI was used to clean up Adrian Brody's Hungarian accent. And there are a number of critics who were out there saying that if they had known that AI was used to that extent in the movie, that they would not have voted for it. And they would not have voted for Adrian Brody to be Best Actor. That they feel that they've been deceived, that when you bring in a technical element that you had previously credited to the actor's skill, then that's cheating and they want nothing to do with it. But we'll see. And also The Brutalist has opened in a very, very, very limited release. So very few people have had a chance to see it. It's 3.5 hours. It's a long, hard slog. My understanding is that you have to devote an entire 4 hours if you're going to go see this movie in the theater. That is a lot. That is a lot. Conclave, I thought was very, very good. I thought it was well acted. I was very sorry to see that Ralph Fiennes was the only actor from the cast that was nominated. It's a wonderful ensemble cast. The art direction is incredible. The costumes are great. And who doesn't love a good Roman Catholic thriller, right? The ending I despised. I thought it was awful, but I thought that everything leading up to it was amazing. I was very sorry to see that Stanley Tucci did not get nominated, or John Lithgow. And we're going to talk more about that later. But I honestly, as much as I enjoyed it, in my opinion, it was overpraised. That was my opinion. I thought it was excellent, but... All right. Emilia Perez, you already know my thoughts on that. The Substance was extraordinary. One of the most original horror movies I have ever seen. It came out of nowhere, and the fact that it's been getting this level of recognition considering the genre it's in is amazing. And that all the credit goes to the director of that movie. was superb. But again, it's an acquired taste. It's very, very graphic. It is not for everyone. And so I think that a lot of voters are going to get turned off by how graphic the movie really is. And then finally, Wicked. Well, you know my feelings about Wicked. I think that Wicked was by far the best movie of 2024, not only in terms of the cultural impact that it had. The music is superb. The singing performances are incredible. The art direction is second to none. And it is going to become a classic based on the unbelievable talent of the director of the movie, who was not fucking nominated for Best Director. Absolutely unbelievable. How can you nominate a movie that has this many moving parts and not nominate the director? So the director is getting the Spielberg treatment, methinks, which is a shame. But Wicked had an incredible impact on people, an incredible impact. People adored it. And again, all the moving parts, the costumes, the art design, the sets, the script, the 9 million tulips, all of it came together and produced a truly stunning spectacle of a movie. It was filmmaking at its very best, and they managed to bring that movie, and then part 2 is coming out next year, in at under $150 million, where Snow White is already up to nearly $300 million. The budget is so bloated for that movie. So it is an absolutely insane. It's insane to me that the director was not nominated. It's insane to me. Like, what were these people thinking? All right, let's go down. All right, directing. Jacques Audiard, Emilia Perez, Sean Baker, Honora. I'm very happy for him. I wish that there were more directors like Sean Baker. He is terrific. Brady Corbet, The Brutalist. Coralie Farge, The Substance, and James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. So James Mangold knocked. What is the name of the director of Wicked? Hang on, I want to make sure I get his name right. I want to give him his due. John Chu. So James Mangold got nominated over John Chu when Wicked was a directorial tour de force. I don't get it. This is not to say that A Complete Unknown is a bad movie. It looks wonderful. Timothée Chalamet looks incredible. He did an incredible job. But what I am saying is that how can you nominate any of these directors, with a couple of exceptions? How can you nominate these people and not nominate John Chu? It makes absolutely no sense. It's craziness. Actor in a leading role, Adrian Brody, The Brutalist, Timothée Chalamet, A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo, Sing Sing, Ralph Fiennes, Conclave, Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. Something is missing here. Something is missing. Adrian Brody may have knocked himself out of the competition because of this AI thing. Now, this is according to some critics. I don't know how much purchase that is going to get in terms of influencing the rest of the Academy voters. But from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of grumbling and anger about Adrian Brody and the AI business. Chalamet is terrific. I haven't seen Sing Sing or The Apprentice, so I'm not qualified to judge. This may be Ralph Fiennes' year, and it's one of those weird years where you have somebody who has this incredible body of work, and you think, why would he win for this over, let's say, Quiz Show or Schindler's List or something like that? But an Oscar is an Oscar. You know, why did Tommy Lee Jones win for The Fugitive instead of all the rest of the movies where he was so brilliant? Why did Al Pacino win for Scent of a Woman instead of all the other movies that he was so brilliant in? Again, an Oscar's an Oscar. So is it Ralph Fiennes' turn? I'm not sure, but I think that here it may be between Adrian Brody and Ralph Fiennes, with Timothée Chalamet being the dark horse. We'll see. Actress in a leading role: Cynthia Erivo, Wicked; Carla Sofia Gascon, Emilia Perez; Mikey Madison, Honora; Demi Moore, The Substance; Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here. Now, I have not seen I'm Still Here. I hear it is excellent. I hear it's excellent. But again, what was it that they used to sing on Sesame Street? One of these things is not like the other. I am convinced, again, that Emilia Perez's incredible success at the Oscars in terms of nominations was entirely political. It was a middle finger up. It was done to make a point. I don't think that they realized that that train left the station quite some time ago. Now, in this category, it is a very hard choice between Cynthia Erivo and Demi Moore. It's very, very tough. And if I had to choose between the two of them, it would be a very difficult choice. I would probably have to flip a coin. Cynthia Erivo made that movie. She made Wicked. This is no disrespect to Ariana Grande at all, at all. And it was a wonderful ensemble cast, no question. Cynthia Erivo came from Broadway. She was completely unknown to most moviegoers who went to see the movie, and she stole the movie from Ariana Grande. Stole it, snatched her wig, ran off, and was never seen from again. Demi Moore was spectacular in The Substance, but again, the problem is that The Substance is not an easy movie to sit through. It's not an easy movie to sit through. It's very, very tough. My vote would go to Cynthia Erivo, ultimately, I think, now that I've had a chance to think about it. Actor in a supporting role: Yura Borisov, Honora; Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain; Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown; Guy Pearce, The Brutalist; and Jeremy Strong, The Apprentice. Now, I have not seen The Apprentice or The Brutalist or A Complete Unknown or A Real Pain, for that matter. I thought that Yura Borisov was fantastic in Honora. However, I would have knocked, and I hear that Kieran Culkin was superb in A Real Pain. I heard A Real Pain is a wonderful movie, very small movie, and very, very good. I think it's a shame that so many of the actors in Conclave were left out. I do. I would have loved to see a nomination for Stanley Tucci in this category. I would have loved to see a nomination for John Lithgow. I think that it was a shame to leave the rest of the cast of Conclave out, because it was a wonderful ensemble. And there is one person who was also included for Conclave, which has left me scratching my head. I genuinely don't get it. These actors are all wonderful. Don't get me wrong. They are all terrific. I love each and every one of them. I have nothing but admiration for all of them. Again, we're in this weird situation where we have a year where a lot of the people who are going to be watching the Oscars have not seen any of these movies. So I'm going to be doing some catch up. I can't watch A Complete Unknown. It hasn't come to the theater here, and I have no idea of when it's going to stream. But I loved Honora, and I thought that that Russian actor was really wonderful. I hear that Kieran Culkin was superb, so I am going to be making an effort to see A Real Pain. I heard he was wonderful, and good for him. Actress in a supporting role: Monica Barbaro, A Complete Unknown; Ariana Grande, Wicked; Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, which is a surprise entry. I think that a lot of people expected Margaret Qualley to get nominated for The Substance, and she wasn't. Isabella Rossellini, Conclave; and Zoe Saldana, Emilia Perez. I think that Saldana is a lock for this, unfortunately. But I think that it's pretty, I think that people just pretty much assume that she's going to win for this. Why Isabella Rossellini was nominated is a complete mystery to me. It makes absolutely no sense. She is barely in conclave. Her role is very, very small. Now, I love Isabella Rossellini, and I love it when older actresses are nominated and recognized. But in this case, I thought that it was very strange. Because her role is very small. And, Karsten reminded me the other day that Judi Dench won for Shakespeare in Love, a movie that she appeared in for like 3 minutes. So you never know. And that might have had more to do with Harvey Weinstein's Oscar campaign than it did with anything else. I mean, I love Judi Dench, but, that's a very, very small role. There's also, by the way, a lot of criticism of the studio A24. Last year, they dropped the ball with the Iron Claw. The Iron Claw came out very, very late in the year, and so it sort of skipped the attention and the notice of Academy voters, even though it should have been nominated in several categories. But A24 needs to get their act together. And I was telling Karsten that A24 is like Miramax without Harvey. Producing really, really high quality art films, but they don't have a maniac who is pushing and driving for awards during awards season. They don't have a really finely honed publicity campaign. They did very well last year, but for some reason this year, less so. Okay, I'm not going to go into the writing. Let's see what else. Cinematography. Here's the good one. The Brutalist. Dune Part 2, which I have not seen. Emilia Perez. Maria, and that was the other person who was left out, who was locked out of the Best Actress category, was Angelina Jolie. And Nosferatu. Now, solely based on the trailers that I've seen. Hello. Oh, lava. Hang on. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that. Trust me. I would vote for Nosferatu. The ambiance of Nosferatu, the mood that they create in Nosferatu, that cinematographer in black and white, is absolutely superb. It looks gorgeous, and even without, I saw Emilia Perez, obviously, and I wasn't, wowed by it. Okay, costume design, just hand the trophy to Paul Tazewell for Wicked. I don't think it's even close. And I think that everybody recognizes that this is Paul Tazewell's year, and he is going to win, as well he should. The costumes for Wicked were incredible, and he is an extraordinary, exceptionally talented costume designer. Okay, film editing. Here is yet another category where Wicked is nominated. And I truly do hope that it wins for best editing. I think that it might go to Emilia Perez, which is a real shame. But again, how can you get all these awards in the technical categories and Best Picture and 2 actresses nominated from your movie and not be nominated as Best Director? It is baffling. But again, it's the Spielberg treatment that he's getting. Okay, let's go down. Music original score: The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Now, none of the songs from Wicked, and I know it's a different category, but this is a very weird category for Wicked to fall under, because the songs from Wicked were excluded from the original song category because they're not original songs. They were written for Broadway. And the songs that are nominated have to be written specifically for a movie. Now, in the follow-up, in Wicked Part 2, there will be 2 original songs, and I think that they're doing that in order to be able to enter them in, the running for an Oscar next year or in 2027. But if you listen to the score of Wicked, it's basically not an original score. It is using the music that already existed and adapting it with slight variation. So it's a strange category. So I think that they shoved Wicked in there as a way to make up for not being able to nominate any of the songs in the movie for Best Original Song. Conclave's score is very, very atmospheric. I don't know if you guys have listened to it, but it's very spooky. And just, in terms of like weirdness, I would vote for Conclave just because it is such a bizarre score and it matches the mood of the movie so well. Now, Best Original Song. Now, here we go. El Mal from Emilia Perez. The Journey from 6888. I don't know what that is. Like a Bird from Sing Sing. Mi Camino from Emilia Perez. Never Too Late from Elton John. All right. Okay. Now, there's been an announcement that the original songs will not be performed live at the ceremony out of respect because of the LA fires. This is the most ridiculous horseshit excuse that I have ever heard for anything at the Oscars. It is utterly preposterous. That's not why they're leaving original song out. You cannot convince me that that is the reason why they're leaving original song out. I think that all these songs are shit. I mean, they usually are. There hasn't been a really great original song submitted to the Oscars in many years. And I was kind of thinking back on when was the last time that I heard a truly great original song at the Oscars. And I would have to go back to the year of Slumdog Millionaire, where A.R. Rahman came up with the most exceptional score, and all the songs that were on that soundtrack that were written by him were superb and did withstand the test of time. I cannot emphasize enough. I cannot emphasize enough how bad the songs are in Emilia Perez. I really can't. And the fact that two songs from Emilia Perez were nominated is nothing short of shocking to me. I know it's a musical. I get it. But it's a musical with really horrible music. Just so that you know. When I had to sit through the spectacle of the penis vagina song in Emilia Perez, I thought that I was going to cringe so hard that I was going to break my spine in two. That's how bad it was. The singing was terrible for the most part. There were actors who could not carry a tune in a bucket. The compositions were bizarre. The lyrics were horrible. And yeah, Breeze, you heard me. Yeah, there's a song that is performed at the clinic that Zoe Saldana goes to visit, where she's looking for a doctor to perform the operation on the drug lord. And they all break out into song. And they have patients that are on gurneys that are swinging around, talking about creating penises and vaginas and inverting penises into vaginas and, tra la 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 la. It is. I thought I was watching a parody. I did not believe that somebody actually wrote this song, choreographed it, had everybody rehearse it, sing it, and then stuck it in this movie. I'm telling you, it was a struggle making it even halfway through the movie. A struggle. Okay? Do you hear me? Now, yeah. Oh, I love that you brought up Hedwig, Breezel. I need to rewatch Hedwig. Hedwig was so good, wasn't it? Such a great movie. The animated film Flow. I have not seen Flow. Like I said, there are a lot of categories where I have not seen the films, although I'm going to catch up. And let me point something else out. I heard a lot of people complaining The Challengers was not nominated. I'd never heard of it. and I see that it's on streaming, so I'm going to watch it later. I hear it's wonderful. I hear it's a wonderful cast, and people were very, very angry that the soundtrack, uh, the score for Challengers was not entered in this, or if it was, that it didn't make the cut. So I'm going to be paying close attention to the score of Challengers as well. You think I'll like Challengers, Rachel? Well, the actor who played Riff in West Side Story is in it, and I think he's great. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I mean, basically everyone that I have seen react to it or review it has loved it, absolutely loved it. So I will be very excited to see it. It seemed like it was a theme or it was a plot that wouldn't interest me, but since everybody seems to love it, I think I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. All right. Okay, I haven't seen the documentaries. International feature film, I'm Still Here, Brazil, The Girl with the Needle, Denmark, Emilia, Perez, France, The Seed of the Sacred Fig from Germany, which I hear is superb, and Flow from Latvia. I find it very interesting that Emilia Perez was nominated as Best Film in 2 separate categories. I did not think. Do I think Wicked Part 2 will be as good as Part 1? I think it's going to be better, Stephanie. Honestly, I think it's going to be better. Only because in Wicked Part 2, we're going to see a lot of we're going to see the origin story of the Scarecrow, the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man. And because the drama is going to be ratcheted up and the music is supposed to be superb, and I think that it's going to give Cynthia Erivo a really, really, really great platform to show off that otherworldly voice of hers. So it's going to be great. I agree. I agree. West Side Story. I was glad that the supporting actress Oscar went to the lady who played Anita. I thought she was great. I wonder whatever happened to her. But she was fabulous. And talk about pressure. I mean, not only are you playing Anita in a remake of West Side Story, but Rita Moreno is in the movie with you. Can you imagine? Where you've got the actress who put Anita on the map, who made Anita her own, and you're playing next to Rita Moreno. I would die of nervousness. I would. But yeah, Mike Faist is an incredible dancer and a major talent, and I absolutely love him. Oh, really? Good. You see, I don't know what's going on Broadway. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. So good for her. Good for her. She'll be a fantastic Evita. Absolutely wonderful. And interesting that they're reviving Evita also. So good for her. Sure beats the hell out of Madonna. That's all I can say. All right, who else is left? Okay, production design, The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. I would give this to Wicked. I wouldn't even, I mean, I'm not trying to downplay the production design in any of these other movies, but I would just hand it to Wicked. There is no movie that came out last year that matches Wicked. Not even close. And that's not me being biased. I'm just saying the attention to detail in terms of not only the practical sets, but the 9 million tulips, the train, the real train that they built to transport the girls from Shiz Academy to Emerald City. The incredible, incredible work that went into those sets. It's just unmatched. Unmatched. All right, so let's continue. Oh, and I wanted to cover this one, Best Sound. Complete Unknown, Dune Part 2, Emilia Perez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. Now, Karsten sent me a video. It was a YouTube short, and it was showing how they mic'd Cynthia Erivo to be able to record her singing live while she was flying around on that harness. And the way that she was mic'd, she was mic'd in the hat, and she was mic'd elsewhere on her body, and how they managed to get her voice so perfectly without a single crinkle of fabric, and they could have edited it out, but that's not the point. The fact that the sound was amazing, and yeah, sure, they boosted the singing and editing and that kind of thing, but the sound was so incredibly clean in that movie. So clean considering all the gymnastics that took place and the dancing and the movement and making sure that the fabric didn't rub up against the mics and it didn't make a noise and all that was absolutely incredible. Incredible. When I saw it, I thought, now that's a master of sound engineering. The guy who had mic'd all the actors up for those incredible performances. So anyway, I'm curious. Yeah, the mic was in her hat. Can you imagine? The mic was in her hat. Yeah. Yeah, I've been obsessed. And can I just say, by the way, that every time that I see a vocal coach commenting on her singing and they have nothing to offer, nothing. I mean, if you've seen a vocal coach on YouTube who's offered up any interesting information on her technique, um, let me know. But I think that they're all clout chasing and they're all just trying to jump on the Wicked bandwagon and offer up tips and recommendations when really, I mean, a voice like that comes along once in a blue moon, once in a lifetime. And I don't care how good you are. I mean, you know how YouTube is. Anybody can go on YouTube and claim that they're an expert or a vocal coach. But you can't make a voice like that. You can't coach your way to a voice like that. It is a talent that comes from some other universe, and she was blessed with it. Very interesting. Very interesting. So I know I rushed through all those categories. I get it. But at the same time, I was so like taken aback by Emilia Perez and the outpouring of love for that movie by the Academy when there was no such outpouring of love from the fan base, from viewers, from the country of Mexico, from Mexican Americans, from the transgender community. It's funny to me. I mean, yeah, everybody's like applauding, oh, the representation and all that shit. But when it comes to actually appreciating the work that the director put into it, I think that Emilia Perez was a very lazy movie. It was an insulting movie to too many people. The music was shitty. And there is no excuse for a French director or any director to actually make the claim that there were no Mexican actors that he could cast in that movie. I think that there was one. There was one. She had a supporting role, a very small one. But please, you can't tell me that a country like Mexico has not produced talent that can sing and dance. I think every country has, But to be so arrogant and to say, well, I wrote a part for Selena Gomez, and yeah, I know she can't speak Spanish worth a damn, but it really doesn't matter. I had her in mind. She was the person I was going to cast. And if you're Mexican or you're Mexican American, then fuck you. But because she's going to be in it, even though she can't speak the language, the primary language of the movie, it's a movie in Spanish, for God's sake. So and there's always been this complaint that Hollywood nominates movies that nobody watches. And that was one of the reasons that they had to expand the Best Picture category to actually include movies that were blockbusters, to include movies that people had gone to see. There were people who were, yeah. This is the thing that is so incredible about this year, the award season this year. It was universally disliked. This is not just one or two people who have an axe to grind. This was universally disliked by multiple communities that the movie was meant to celebrate, maybe, and nobody was buying it. So it's incredible how out of touch the Academy is with viewers, with critics, and with others who are like, this movie stinks. This is a bad movie. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. Oh, but anyway, I know that I'm pulling for Wicked. I hope that Wicked doesn't get the Barbie treatment. I hope that Wicked isn't one of those movies that's nominated for a whole bunch of awards and walks away with very few. I mean, Paul Tazewell is a lock for Best Costume. There's no question in my mind that he's going to win for Best Costume. The production design, I think that Wicked will win. I think that the technical categories, they will do very well in the technical categories. But I am still absolutely astonished that John Chu was not nominated. It's such an embarrassment. It's such a slap in the face to a director who took a beloved Hollywood musical that had a very, very determined and adamant and devoted fan base, turned it into a musical movie that people loved, that even people who hadn't seen the musical and hadn't read the book absolutely loved. John Chu created a movie that made grown men cry, straight men, by the way. And his vision is incredible. He is an incredible director of musicals. What he did with Wicked was incredible. And like I said, Wicked will withstand the test of time. It will. So, yeah, I agree. I agree. Hmm. Yeah. So anyway, you guys, I'm glad that you were here to talk. Oh, interesting. Interesting. That's very interesting, Rachel. Thank you for letting us know. I had absolutely no idea. Because the thing is, you hear, it's almost like we're inhabiting two different realities. In one reality, you've got the audience, and in the other reality, you've got the Academy, and they're so out of touch. And by the way, that is absolutely no disrespect to Zoe Saldana, who is lovely and terrific and very, very talented. It's the movie itself. It's the movie itself and the arrogance of the director. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Absolutely does not make sense. And I think that it is unforgivable that a biological woman was knocked out of the running in Best Actress for a transgender woman, for a man, basically. And again, how many times have we been told that this never happens? Oh, well, what's the big deal? Whether it's sports, movies, you know, awards, Woman of the Year, jobs that are set aside for women. Oh, no, it doesn't happen. It happens, except when it happens all the time. So, I want to thank all you guys for being here. Thank you all so much. It was so much fun talking movies with you. And now I want you to watch my fabulous, amazing outro. So thanks again, you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. See you later.